Welcome back to Backward Point Podcast. My name is Nazar Sayed, and this is an episode about three things. क्या किंग कर लेगा? क्या किंग ने कर लिया? क्या किंग कर सकता है? With me as always, my co-host and my brother, Bashar Sayed. We're going to be talking about the loss against New Zealand in New Zealand. The series is gone 3-0 is the case right now as we record this. Bashar Sayed, thoughts, feelings, and emotions?
Shaheen Afridi's inception as Pakistan captain. He wins 3 tosses, but he loses 3 matches. At least he has a 100% win rate somewhere.
Success rate in tosses is insane. One that Babar would envy, actually. This is the first series loss in New Zealand after a very long time. We won in 2018. We won in 2022, which was, I think, a triangular series with the Bangladesh also involved in it. And that team, if I show you the 2022 team, is horrific, horrendous, just a shocker in all regards. But we managed to secure the win there. Shaheen Afridi notably not a part of that series. Shaheen a captain in this one. What went wrong, man?
2018, Sarfaraz was captain, Pakistan won. 2022, Babar Azam was captain, Pakistan won. And we now have a new captain this series. So it seems like every single tour we go to New Zealand, we have a new captain. So that means the next tour to New Zealand, Shaheen will likely not be captain.
Statistically,
yeah. And I mean, if you're looking at stats as well, Pakistan has lost the last 9 of the 11 international matches that they've played. The only 2 wins coming against Bangladesh at the World Cup and New Zealand, which was a rain-affected match. Pakistan has also had no wins under the reign of Mohammad Hafiz. Mohammad Hafiz, who was part of the technical committee in Pakistan during the World Cup to diagnose why Pakistan is losing the matches. He resigned, I think it was actually before the World Cup when Pakistan lost the Asia Cup. Pakistan continued to lose.
And the English continued to fall, to destroy.
Great.
It happens. We went on live stream for 4 hours on the third T20I, and this is what happened. By the end of it, our brain was just mush.
Yo, my respect for Wasim Bhai has gone to the next level. Commentating for 4 hours is not easy.
Okay, but they don't continuously commentate for 4 hours. Like, we had no breaks. We had just a 10-minute break where we ran down, had some dal chawal, came back up. But they have I think they do 5-over spells, I believe. In test match, they do 10-over spells or something like that. So it's not continuous like that.
I mean, luckily we didn't butcher any names.
Yeah, it's hard to butcher Finn Allen, isn't it?
Yeah.
And he was the story of the third T20I. What an innings he played. It just felt like a consistent bombardment of sixes upon our shoulders, at least. I mean, we just collected a draft, actually an edit of us just reacting to all the Finn Allen sixes. Should be out by the time we release this episode. And you can go ahead and see how vicious that was on at least my mental health. I was just losing my mind. The way that that ball was being skied and touching not even the grass, the trees in the background. Insane.
I keep saying it was a small ground, but his sixes a lot of them were over 90 meters. Some of them were even over 100 meters. So they were clean hits and they would be sixes on any ground in the world. What is up with me and you streaming matches and Pakistan losing? This is the second loss in a row.
What is up with us becoming sort of successful in the podcasting era and then Pakistan is continuously being shit?
Yeah.
Somebody said that in the chat and it actually hurt my feelings.
Someone actually said, how are you guys so calm while watching Pakistan being obliterated? And the answer is, we've been doing it for too long.
Experience. That answer. We've lived through 2010 semifinal against Australia, 2011 semifinal against India. We've lived
the whole Misbah era.
The whole Misbah era was a tough one, but we came out alive. And, we lived through the 2021 T20 semis and the 2022 finals. So at this point, you're so rugged, your skin is so calloused that nothing a T20 series in New Zealand can do to you that has not already been done. Let's talk about how it happened. Pakistan won the first toss in the first 3 games, as we mentioned, and chose to bowl in all 3 games. Thoughts and feelings on that, Bashar?
The first match, I can understand, you're playing in Auckland, Eden Park, it's a small ground. It would be nice to see how the dimensions work, how the other team is batting, so you can sort of replicate the same batting style. But the difference was actually in the bowling styles. Pakistan seemed like they were bowling right in the hot zones. They were bowling too full. And with the straight boundaries being 47 or 50 meters, even a miss hit goes for 6. On the contrary side, New Zealand seemed like they were bowling with a plan. They were bowling cutters, they were bowling pace off deliveries into the pitch, and not giving Pakistan any length or pace to hit it for boundaries. And that just, it gives me two things to think about. The first one is, with so much data available these days, I'm sure the team analyst or whoever's in the management gave Pakistan the numbers like, hey, this length on this pitch is the hot zone. Don't ball here. This is a good length. Ball here at this pace. So either they have those data points and they're not executing it, which means they're not capable of doing it. They're not good enough. Or secondly, we don't have a data guy who is giving those data points to the Pakistan team.
And I think it's hard to believe that that's the second one is the case.
There is a team analyst who has been traveling with the team. His name is Talha for the past few years. So, I mean, I'm sure he is giving those stats to the team. But with so much data now, actually, it's hard for players to remember those things while in a game when you're playing in front of thousands of people. The match is on TV. Let's say Abbas Afridi, he's on debut. There's so many things going through his head. The last thing you'll be thinking of is, oh, what the data guy told me to ball in this area, this length, right?
I think that's a bad example to choose because he's actually been really good this series. 5 wickets in 2 games, pretty economical compared to everybody else. Abbas Afridi has been a find. Actually, I feel bad because we had an opportunity to sit down with him in the GT20 and we just missed it. And now I feel like that would have been a good way to just dissect what was going on because, who would have thought he'd be a future star? Him not being in the World Cup squad in 2024 would be a shocker to me.
Yeah, he was the highest wicket taker of the last PSL. He
took a hat-trick in the GT20 as well.
Yep. He's got a very killer back of the hands lower ball. And I think he's the first bowler since, wait for it, the legend Rana Naveed.
Yes! I told you this. Oh my God. Abbas Afridi's slower ones remind me of Rana Naveed Ul Hassan, man. And it's not even just the hair, it's the back of the hand. Wow. Rana Naveed pre-hair transplant was a different bowler.
No, I think he was better after the hair.
Post-transplant?
Yeah.
Bro, pre-transplant, 2005 era Rana Naveed. Oh my God, those slower ones were wild. Especially that India series was pretty good.
Dude, the man had a hairband post-transplant. Like he had a hairband.
The audacity.
And longer hair.
The audacity to firstly go get a transplant and then have a hairband, man. That's just spitting on everybody's heads. Spitting on the bald spots of everybody's heads. Wild. Rana Naveed was a legend of the game.
A very good T20 bowler. He bowled very well in the Big Bash. Got the ball to reverse a lot towards the tail end of the innings.
Was he quick?
He was like 135, 136, which is quick enough,
Yeah, especially in this era.
Yeah.
Wild.
I think he lost pace post-transplant because
the heaviness.
The heaviness.
The wind.
When he's running in.
The wind drift on his hair was different. Lose a few Ks there. Coming back to this monstrosity, Pakistan conceded 226 in the first game. Most runs conceded by Pakistan in T20I history. Was almost beaten in the third T20I until they sort of dialed it back down a bit. Second game 194 and third game was 224. An average of 210 almost in all 3 games in the first innings. Would this be counted as just a factor of smaller grounds, worse conditions, or just mindless captaincy?
Brainless captaincy, clueless management. So I think the main reasons why this is happening, if you dive more deeper into it, the first and foremost one is that Shaheen is not Shaheening as Shaheen used to. And by that I mean is that he's not taking wickets in the power play.
He's Wahab Riazing a little bit.
Yeah, which is very... Actually, did you see that meme where it's like Shaheen's first over, he's Shaheen Afridi? Yes, and second over, he becomes Rahat Ali?
Oh, wild. Rahat Ali gets a lot of flack, but he was decent. That was a hot take.
So Shaheen has only taken 1 wicket this whole series so far, the 3 matches. And there's a few things. The first one is Shaheen's pace. I'm a big advocate of Shaheen's pace. I thought he was bowling in the low 130s in the test series against Australia because he was conserving his energy. And I was expecting this series, him resting the third match to prepare for this series and then the ILT20 and the PSL. I thought his pace would be back up in the 140s consistently. But if I recall, I think he's bowled maybe a couple of deliveries at 140 or over 140 this whole series, which is point of concern. Pre-injury, he used to be bowling 130, 143, 145 consistently. And for him to be now in the 130s, it is a point of concern because people are having arguments that maybe Shaheen does not deserve a spot in the playing 11 right now. And not surprisingly, he's our captain. So that's his boxing cricket for you.
I think people who are still vouching for Shaheen to come back and bowl those 140-kilometer bowls, I think it's time to lay the dream a rest. I think it's this is the new Shaheen, love it or hate it. This is how it's going to be. And the dream of him touching 145, 147 again, like he did in the 2021 World Cup, I think it's gone. I think it's very, very hard for bowlers to be as quick as they were as they started. Waqar Younis is a great example. When he came in the late 80s, early 90s, he was bowling 145, 148 express. And then after his back injury, he came back. He was still quick, high 130s, but never again was he the same. That whip, that sling that you get when you're prime, when you're raw, you just don't get that back again after injury. And that happens to not only cricketers, but it happens to big players as well. You can see injuries in all sports. And it's very rare that an athlete comes back and is right back where they started. So,
No, I want to argue against that actually. And I want to talk about injury management. And the prime example for that is Jasprit Bumrah. For a fast bowler, his lower back is everything. That's how he generates all his pace. That's where all of his strength is. So for Bumrah to have back-to-back lower back injuries and for him to come back each and every time better, quicker, more accurate than before shows how advanced India is in terms of managing their players, helping them with their rehab. Our players, there's news out there that initially Ahsanullah was not doing his rehab properly. Abrar Ahmed recently, there was a report leaked where he wasn't following his rehab program. So it has to do both with the incompetence of the board and the incompetence of the players not being able to see what they need to do.
but whatever that case may be, I think it's time for fans to realize and accept the fact that this is the Shaheen that we're going to get. That was my whole spiel. I think the dream of him touching the 145s again, continuously at least, it's over. What do you think?
Unless he takes a few months off, works with fast bowling coaches, works with a strength and conditioning coach to gain those extra Ks. Because, a ball swinging at 135 versus 145, it's a huge difference. Those extra fraction of seconds that you don't have to react to it, that's what makes the difference between middling a ball and mistiming it and hitting your pads or the stumps. And you can see the difference. Shaheen has also, I think, been neutralized. We talked about in the Asia Cup series where you mentioned that the Indian batsmen have not been able to neutralize Shaheen Afridi. But I think now Shaheen Afridi has been neutralized. Everybody knows he's going to be bowling quick, in swinging, full, into the wickets, into the pads. And Finn Allen at least seems like he was ready for it.
How much do you think Shaheen misses Naseem on the other end?
It definitely makes a difference. Having Naseem Shah on the other end, at least he'll either take wickets or he'll just not concede a lot of runs. He was very economical as a T20 bowler. So we're definitely missing Naseem. Also in the power play, but also in the middle overs, because I think in an ideal world, you would have Imad Wasim in the team as well, where Imad Wasim, if he was available for selection of the international team, I think he would be bowling in the power play. And he's also a very economical bowler, very experienced bowler. And now he's also at the peak of his batting career as well. So he would just add crazy balance in this Pakistan team.
226 in the first game, 194 in the second game, 224 in the third game. Is this what you expect from your first fast bowling captain since Wasim Akram?
Well, he's just bowling 4 overs. So who's bowling the other 16 overs?
I just mean like an attacking, aggressive captain who's a fast bowler should understand how to manipulate the field, how to navigate the bowlers, when to bowl which bowler. One, very good example is in the third T20I, which we were live streaming. Haris Rauf gets hit for 28. And then talking about matchups, in the 14th or 13th over, Shaheen brings back Haris against Finn Allen, who was on strike, gets whooped for another 22.
I think in T20s, you have to be very quick on your feet to make decisions. And MS Dhoni used to say that, he used to go with his gut feeling with whatever he thinks should be the right decision at the moment. And Shaheen, from what I've seen so far, it seems like he's just following a script. Or the first one going to be by this bowler, second over this bowler, middle over this bowler. nothing new is happening.
Which is not very different from what Babar was criticized of. Babar was doing the same thing. It felt like there was a plan, and you could have a team down 84-7, but he'll still execute the plan that he came up with, which was a fair criticism that we've seen that happen many times. But how is this different then?
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised that Iftikhar Ahmed has not been given a chance to roll over his arm. Not saying he is Saklan Mushtaq or Muralidharan, well, he'll just come and take wickets, but to see Iftikhar maybe sneak in a few overs here and there, it just adds balance to the Pakistan team. Like if your main bowler is going for a lot of runs, Iftikhar could sort of come in and give that cushion and ball a few overs there. But we didn't see Shaheen go for that Ifti mania option in any of the games.
You have a note here that's one of my favorites. It's 5 words that will resonate with everybody listening to this, all the Pakistani cricket fans. Osama Mir is so bad. That's
Horrible.
all you have.
Horrible. I mean, pre-series I mentioned on the preview episode where I said Osama Mir in T20s is a different bowler. ODIs he's bad. I understand that, but T20s, that's his forte. That's where he excels. And I also mentioned that because he was having a really good back season. He was taking wickets. He was economical. And I felt like if he could just replicate those same performances in the Pakistan team, he would sort of be a good backup to Shadab Khan. But in the 2 matches, he's been really expensive. The first game, he gave 51 in 4 overs. The second match, 4 overs, 1 wicket for 39. And I saw a tweet where somebody says that Osama Mir cannot land a ball in one area consistently, even if his life depended on it.
My question is, if a bowler is good in the Big Bash, these are very similar conditions to the New Zealand conditions, what is it about the green and the yellow, apparently, in the Pakistan kit that makes him the Thunder kit, that makes him so volatile and so predictable and just plain old bad? Like, I don't want to sugarcoat it at all, but Osama Mir has consistently been bowling bad lines. His half trackers are just constant. He doesn't know where to bowl. And then every now and then you'll get a really good ripper from him that's like on middle off breaks that nobody knows what's happening except for him and Azam Khan. And you're just like, where was this like 20 balls ago? Like, why couldn't you just do that consistently for 24 times? You're a professional cricketer being paid thousands of dollars a year, and yet here you are giving me half trackers to Kane Williamson down the leg your first ball.
Osama Mir is making me miss Usman Qadir.
I think Usman Qadir was legit. I still
it's
have
like
that opinion.
breaking up with a toxic ex and missing the other toxic ex who wasn't that toxic.
Here, I'll tell you how good Usman Qadir was. Everybody go check out the GT20 reel that they posted. Him versus Muhammad Haris. Azam Khan is
in the power play.
In the power play, made an over, spins it both ways. Muhammad Haris has no idea what to do about it. We actually talked to Haris about this in the podcast. And Azam was keeping and entertaining everybody in the back. Usman Qadir wasn't that bad. But, that quote unquote Dosti Yari tag that Babar Azam got kicked him out of the side as well.
Yeah, I mean, bottom line is we're missing Shadab Khan. Shadab Khan, who since 2021, he has had the most T20 wickets by a Pakistani bowler in the middle overs. He has 48 wickets at an economy of 6.8. And this is the other problem we have, is that we're not taking wickets in the middle overs for Pakistan. And, in T20s, if you're not, drying up the score or taking wickets, you will be continued to be dominated by the opposition. And that's exactly what New Zealand has done. Haris Rauf has taken wickets. He took 3 wickets, I think, in the second match. But he's always taken wickets in the death when it's sort of already too little, too late. Like,
it's already been decided for Pakistan. If Pakistan's already conceded 200 plus in 18, then you take 3 in the end. You're basically saving 5-10 runs. And if you already conceded 200 plus, it's already a mammoth task for anybody to go down and chase. Even though Pakistan has done it a few times in the past, the idea to have that be repeated consistently is just too much. And another thing that's quite surprising and shocking is that we don't have a replacement for Shadab Khan. We don't have somebody backing him up. And that was so evident in the 2023 ODI World Cup in India when Shadab was just not on his feet. He wasn't the best that he could be. He was getting whooped every single game, 60, 70 runs, maybe a wicket, maybe not. And you just didn't have anybody going in on his behalf. And Osama Mir was there, getting the same sort of traction that Shadab was. And we had to rely on Ifti and Nawaz to complete those overs. So the struggle still continues. We even don't know if Shadab is again A, fully fit, and B, back to his regular self to take those wickets to dry up those runs. Economy of 6.8 in the middle overs with 48 wickets, like you said. Do we know if he's capable of doing that still?
Well, he's back playing cricket again. He is fit. I saw a video of him doing some net sessions with Mohammad Amr at the NCAA. He was playing some departmental matches recently, so he's trying to gain some match practice. I think he has a contract in the ILT20 for the Desert Vipers. He's playing on the same team as Azam Khan, Shaheen Afridi, and Mohammad Amr. If they all get the NOCs, that's a different story. But yeah, so even Shadab, hopefully he gets back into form. The other replacement that we could have had for Shadab, who was sort of in the plans, was Abrar Ahmed. But unlucky for him, he gets injured again and he is out of the series. He picked up the injury on the tour match against Australia in Australia, and he is still to regain his full fitness.
Is that unlucky, or at some point you give the onus on the player to be like, you cannot be consistently being injured at this rate without it being, some responsibility of the player? So there's something going wrong in the way that Abrar is leading his life as a professional cricketer for this injury to be recurring.
Well, let's just put all Pakistani players in the same bracket, because Khurram Shahzad plays one test, injured. Abrar Ahmed plays one tour match, gets injured. Numan Ali picks up an appendicitis, which is, okay, not really cricket related, but it can happen. Abbas Afridi plays 2 matches and he's injured. Like, what is...
Shaheen feels sore after 2 test matches.
What is going on?
I have no answer for you.
So the other problem is that a lot of these guys have no idea about fitness, strength, conditioning, diet until they come to a PSL team or until they come to the Pakistan team. Like, I think Mohammad Hafiz mentioned this, and this is kind of ironic that I'm quoting him. He said that in India, when an Indian player goes to the Indian team, he's already a product. In Pakistan, you play based off of talent, and talent will only get you so far.
It's 100% true. There is no lie in that statement. This is how the world works. If you want to be a class act, then you have to be willing to put in the hours and the work in. And Pakistan is just incapable of doing that. We've talked at length of Pakistan's bowling. Let's come back to Pakistan's batting. We have a bright new shining flare in the Pakistan team under the name of Saim Ayub, the pride and just the heart of Gulistan Johor Karachi. If you guys know what I'm talking about, then you know what I'm talking about. Saim Ayub, what a start he gave in the first T20I, 27 off 8. I think the shot of the series with the no-look flick over 6 on mid-wicket, square leg. What are we thinking about that?
It's a great shot. I don't think Matt Henry in his wildest dreams would have thought that Saim Ayub would, sort of flick him or no-look shot him for 6 over fine leg. But that's just the class of Saim Ayub. And just that innings of himself in the first match, it put an end to the whole Rizbar opening partnership thing, because the fact of the matter is Pakistan's strike rate in the power plays has been abysmal the past 3 years when Rizbar were opening. And that's why I think Saim Ayub being in the top order is amazing. It's great to see. And I will even go to the extent and say that Mohammad Haris should be in the top 3 somewhere, because I'm all about going berserk in the power play, utilize it, and just exploit it to the max.
Still a no-brainer that Mohammad Haris should have been in the squad. Just goes back to what the management is thinking and planning. No,
are they thinking?
I don't know, but I was just laughing at the fact that you were saying that Pakistan's strike rate in this power play has been insane and it's been great. They've been scoring over 10 and over almost in the power play in this series, which is funny because even though Rizbar isn't opening, Rizbar is always in the power play. It has been so and has been written thus so in the histories and the destinies of Pakistan cricket. Babar has played in the power play 3 times in this T20I series, and he has been insane. Just out of this world. He's playing the knocks of his life out there, and still the criticism is on him, the onus is on him, the responsibility is upon his shoulders. He's the one that is the reason that Pakistan is losing. He's the reason that Pakistan is under the rubble. He's the reason that Pakistan is 3-0. 3 half centuries in a row. You have a really good stat here. It says that if Babar doesn't score, he is a fraud. And if Babar scores, he's a stat pattern. And if it's against a weaker team, those runs don't count. If Babar scores and Pakistan loses, he is not a match winner or a finisher. How can he please the masses?
It seems like he is the scapegoat for all and every scenario out there. And, I think cricket is played by 11 people and not just one Babar Azam. So, Babar, I believe the role that's been given to him in this T20 side under Shaheen's captaincy is that he is the anchor. He has to play all 20 overs. It's sort of the same role that India gave Virat Kohli in the ODI World Cup, where they told him to go and play all the 50 overs. And Babar has been given sort of a similar role in this T20 side, where he has to hold one end while he has attacking batsmen on the other end. Every time he's coming to bat, he's either batting with Mohammad Rizwan, Fakhar Zaman, Iftikhar Ahmed, or Azam Khan. All these guys can play at a very high strike rate. So the idea is everyone plays around Babar Azam. And Babar has surprisingly and shockingly played at a high strike rate. He's found boundaries.
Whoa, why is that surprising or shocking?
Because typically, his career strike rate is 129. So that shows that he'll probably score 50 off, 38, 39 balls at best. And he's been scoring 50s off, early 30 balls. So he's been playing at a good strike rate. I think if he had some support on the other end, Pakistan would be able to win at least one of these matches. I will go back to the second match where Pakistan was chasing 194. He had a partnership with Fakhar Zaman in the middle where they were both attacking. And there was a point when Fakhar got out, Pakistan needed 98 in 10 overs with 7 wickets in hand. Iftikhar Ahmed and Babar Azam batting. I think that was a position where they could have, had Iftikhar supported Babar, they could have won the match from there. And it's the same thing with Azam Khan. He's been coming into bat at positions where he can play his game, finish the match, and cement his place in this Pakistan T20 team.
Now, is there any onus on Babar is there any criticism on Babar from your side in these 3 performances?
Not really. I think the one, if you really want to be critical, I think Babar Azam he scores a lot more 4s and 6s. And I really feel like he needs to work on his power hitting, his range hitting.
He's not a slogger.
Yeah, but I think you need to evolve your game where you're playing in small grounds where you can really capitalize on small boundaries. Babar sort of has that, mid-wicket heave or a pull shot. I think he needs to sort of increase the variety of strokes he has in the white ball format.
And would you blame Babar for any of the losses in these 3 games?
Not really. I mean, people think that Babar should single-handedly win matches, score 100 off 40 balls, and just get Pakistan over the line. I don't think that's his role, and I don't even think he has that capability. He's not that kind of a player to score 40 ball hundreds. He'll support you. He'll anchor you. I'm just glad to see that he's come one down. I've been screaming my lungs out that Babar should be playing one down.
What is the difference if Babar is still coming in the power play and still playing most of the power play?
Interesting point. I saw a tweet by Mazhar Rashad where he said the main problem with the whole Rizbar thing was not utilizing the power play. And if Saim Ayub is getting out early, you have Babar and Rizwan again on the crease in the power play. So he suggested that if Saim gets out in the power play, send Fakhar in. So Fakhar can still utilize the power play. And if Rizwan gets out, send Babar.
I mean, Mazhar Rashad is quite a brainy person, and he would definitely have those very educated takes. I'm actually kind of in favor of it. But sending Babar 2 down, is that too low for him?
No, I think if he in the middle overs, his strike rate's been around 135. So, he does pretty good in the middle overs. He plays good against spin. I don't think there's any problem with Babar going 2 down.
Okay. And then where does Mohammad Haris fit in all of this?
It's a good question. It's a very good question. I don't know the answer to that because, Saim, I think, is a pretty... You can pen in Saim in the World Cup squad. Rizwan, you can't really move at number 2. Babar is sort of, he's the number 3 Pakistan deserves. So I don't know where Mohammad Haris fits because if you really want to play Mohammad Haris, the only place you can actually have him to utilize his resources and his talent is, again, in the top 3 in the power play.
And you could see very well the frustration of Babar Azam as he was playing in those games. You could see that he was not happy with who he was batting with, especially after Fakhar Zaman was going out. it just seems like he was consistently frustrated.
Second match, Babar Azam does not even celebrate his 50.
Not even the third match.
What's up with that?
That just shows that the stat pattern logo that's been given to Babar, the he is a selfish player logo that has been given to him, that he only plays against his own numbers and nobody else. The Pakistan team comes at the back foot and he's at the front foot. That just shows that has always been baloney, and that has just been propaganda against Babar. We've come here, at least on this podcast, we were able to diminish that story a little bit. Babar is a standout player. He is a patriot. He wants to play for Pakistan. He prefers playing for Pakistan. And, a 50 and a losing cause, you can have 10 more of these and he will not celebrate any one of them, because he is a man who celebrates the wins over the 20. He can go all out on 20, and if Pakistan wins, he will celebrate that win way harder than a 50 at a losing cause. And that just shows it. And I was happy to see that, because A, that just shows that his focus has always been on the betterment of A, him as a player, and B, Pakistan as a team. And the second thing that actually gave me a positive sign from Babar was his intent. He was coming out to score, and he was frustrated that he wasn't being supported from the other end. Let's talk about that lack of support. Middle order consistently flopping in all three games. Onus goes to Ifti and Azam. First two games, the blame could be on the management, that they probably didn't utilize the matchups quite well. I still don't think this is an excuse to fall behind on, but benefit of the doubt, Ifti comes in when there's spinners on, which I wouldn't say struggles with, but he doesn't prefer that. And Azam comes in when the Pacers are on, which he again wouldn't prefer. He would rather play a spinner so he can go at the full attack. Now, when you're playing professional cricket at the level that Pakistan cricket is being played at, I don't think it matters if there's a spinner or a fast bowler on the other end. But, preference-wise, okay, fine, I'll give that onus to them. In the third T20I, I just felt like, there was no excuse for that performance. I feel like that performance was just abysmal from both of them. Azam came in, he tried to attack, he wasn't able to do that. If they just, I don't know, loose running, lazy running, somewhere in between, non-serious running, and all I could think about during the third T20I was that viral video of Iftikhar talking to a fan. Apparently, some fan called him Chachu. I've been on record of saying I don't think he likes that.
I actually haven't heard that the story is true, because we never heard
what the guy said.
Yeah, we just heard, he called him Chachu, but apparently he's okay with being called Chachu.
I've never bought that story 100%. I've always felt like that was something that was thrusted on him, and the fans started doing that. And in Pakistan, there's a culture, if you feel like you're getting bullied and if you call on it, you get bullied more upon that. So he just wanted to branch off from it. That's why you'd see Kaleem and his management really pushing the Iftimania tag on social media. Kind of stuck, kind of didn't stick. It only sticks when he plays well. He has to play well for that to stick, Ifti. But, not really something that he favored. And then he goes back and he says to the fan, Khamosh rahiye. Khamosh rahiye.
Khamosh.
You can make that into a clip, you guys. That's a meme for you guys. That's all I could think about. And as soon as he got run out, I was like, Khamosh rahiye. And chalte phiriye.
He was just lazy running. He was jogging the first few steps. And then when he realizes that Santner is steaming and he has the ball in his hands, that's when he actually starts trying to run. And he was miles out of his crease.
You think a dive would have helped him in that? Or maybe not
really.
He was pretty far off.
Not really.
So, again, Ifti not showing up when he needs to be, really, really solid criticisms on Iftikhar. Him being given so many chances in the ODIs and the T20s. Some people coming out of the woodworks calling him a fraud, that he never was who he claimed to be. I'm not so sure about that. But, 3 straight back-to-back flops is concerning for Pakistan.
I wouldn't doubt Iftikhar's skills. If I'm being honest, we've developed him as a good middle order batsman. We've invested a lot into him. He's played 50-odd T20s.
He takes too much time, though.
Well, that's his game.
Criticism.
That's his game. He likes to take a few balls. And
He took 8 to 9 balls to start hitting in the second T20.
Well, here's the thing, right? If he gets in, he'll make up for that. But if it doesn't, it looks very ugly. Which in these 3 matches, it has looked ugly. So again, I mean, there's just 3 matches. I wouldn't be like, you drop Iftikhar. Because in reality, we don't have a middle order batsman.
We just don't have one.
Unless, do you want to bring back Shoaib Malik?
I'm good.
Yo, when I was in Pakistan, Shoaib Malik was on the boards for the Hajmola ads. Is that where Shoaib Malik has gotten? Hajmola ads? Come on, guys.
All right. So that was Ifty. We're still on the Ifty train so far. I wouldn't say reluctantly. I wouldn't say we're hesitating. We're still full on.
I'm an Ifty maniac.
Yeah, definitely. But we're still there's a gap. I think that a performance is due, and it's high time. And I don't want to see them at the dead rubber games in the next couple ones, but definitely something to talk about and something to look forward to from Ifty. The second thing and the most important thing, friend of the pod, Azam Khan, is the international material. Averages 4.83 in 7 innings. 7 innings. Not a lot of people get 7 innings, Bashar, in T20I cricket. It's a fast-moving game. People move on. 7 innings is a lot of innings. He scored 22 runs off 19 balls this series. Is he getting missed opportunities? Is he being mismanaged? Is there a lack of confidence when Azam is batting? What is going on?
Well, the first point is that you got to first acknowledge that Azam came into the team based off of his performances in the CPL. You know, the next World Cup is in the Caribbean. He's performed in Canada as well for the GT20. He was the 7th highest run scorer. He played impactful innings in the middle order in the National T20 Cup. So people saying Perchi, that's absolutely false. Secondly, you know, number 5 and 6 where he bats, it's a very specialist position. And it's a very tough position because you're oftentimes coming in, you have an opportunity to finish the match, play impactful innings, get Pakistan close to the line. And he's been, at this point, been given 3 chances in this series. Every time he comes to bat, he has an opportunity to play his game, play his natural game, and finish the match. Like, show the world what Azam Khan, the power of Azam Khan is. But to me, he's looked off color. His body language showed that he was a bit like he wasn't fully confident. And I was just imagining, you know, what's going through his head when he's walking back after 3 flop innings. He barely managed to hit a 6 in the 3rd match, which was his first international 6 in his career.
Abbas Arfidi has hit a 6 quicker than Azam Khan.
Yeah, and that's sad considering that's Azam's specialty, right? You know, playing against spin and smashing 6s at will. So, yeah, just disappointing. The only argument I could make in Azam's favor is, you know, Asif Ali got 40 plus matches. Players like you know, Hardik Pandya got a lot of matches. Glenn Maxwell got a lot of matches. Josh Butler got a lot of matches before they actually started producing match-winning performances. Their averages in their first 10 or 12 matches were 10, 12, 7, 8. So maybe you can continue to invest into Azam, give him the whole series at least, and see how he does. Because the other argument or the other reality is that we don't have any other middle order batsman to sort of swap Azam in the middle order, right? At number 5 and 6. We've tried Asif Ali, average of 15. We've tried Khuzil Shah, but we tried Iftikhar at a lower number.
We've tried Nawaz higher up the order.
We've tried Nawaz, we've tried Shadab, and those combinations were just not working. I welcome this change of Azam in the team, but he just hasn't performed. And now that he's on 3 bad innings, you know, can he come back in the next 2 matches if he's given the chance? Because Hasibullah's in the team. He was our backup keeper for this match. The other combination Pakistan can try is have Rizwan keep again and maybe have somebody else in the lower order.
Like who?
Like maybe Hasibullah. I don't know. I don't have all the answers, but we don't really have a backup at this point. Unless you shuffle things around, maybe Fakhr comes at number 6 and you can put Sahib Data Farhan or Hasibullah at 4. It's tough.
No. I think you play out Azam Khan for this entire series. It's 2 dead rubbers, right? What is the value of those 2 games? You're not playing for a league position or anything of that nature. Points don't really matter. ICC points don't really matter. So what are we playing for? If we get an Azam Khan confident, reliable, and, you know, above par by the end of this series, is that not a win for Pakistan? Right? There has already been calls on a certain fraction of social media calling for Saim Ayub and Azam Khan's neck, which is like, get him out. They're not high quality material. Maybe we've undercooked Saim Ayub. Maybe we've overhyped Azam Khan. They should not be in the 11. And my reply to that is play them the entire series. I need to see an entire series worth of data to say anything of that nature. Azam Khan, these are some of the stats that you've pulled up. Azam Khan has batted Injury points of Azam Khan for Pakistan: 4 for 221 in 19 overs. He came in, that was his first game. 4 for 93 in 12.1. Required run rate at the time was 13.78. 39 for 3 in 6. 60 for 4 in 9.5 overs. And then in these three test series, three T20Is, he comes in for 130 for 4 in the 12.4th over. Required run rate at the time was 13.23 in the first T20I. Second T20I, in my opinion, was a perfect opportunity for Azam Khan to be unleashed. 105 for 4 was the scoreboard when he came in at 11.5 overs. The required run rate at the time was 11.02, which is not that bad. It's totally underhand at that point. In T20Is, definitely something that can be chaseable. And then in the third T20I, he was sort of left for dead when he came in, 95 for 3 in 10.5. Required run rate at the time was 14.18. Shockingly, I think he batted with Babar Azam in all three matches, which is good. I mean, that's a good person to have on the other end. Will definitely give you confidence. But it was not the Babar Azam. It was not the Azam Khan that we know and love. The Azam Khan that we've seen in the CPL, the T20, the PSL, many a times. Definitely looked off color, but that does not mean that the man does not have talent. People are coming for the Perchi slogan. People are coming for dubious questions about his selection. I don't think any of those questions are valid. The way that this man plays, if he goes off, he will single-handedly make Pakistan win any single game.
It's a pretty big if. And that's what the whole conversation is.
That
right?
is the whole conversation.
Like, is he international material or not? And when do you make that call? Maybe in his favor, you can say, okay, he's played 7 innings, but he's played 7 innings in 3 years or in 3 or 4 years. So he's not been given consistent chances, but a lot of Pakistani players don't even get that many innings. So I think Azam at this point is quite lucky.
But he's lucky only because, I'm going to give him some compliments. His keeping's been pretty good.
Keeping's been very impressive.
Pretty impressive keeping, quick on his feet, jumping for the wide balls, trying to cast the really high ones. He's taller than Rizwan, so he's managed to grasp a few that, would be a little bit of a danger one for Rizzy. But he's able to do that. And then secondly, it's just who are you going to replace? Who do you have in the backup for Azam Khan that is going to fill in those shoes?
Not really anybody in this squad. Maybe.
You know what's? It's going to be insane to see what the PSL produces this season. Because this PSL is one of the most important PSLs in the PSL history because of its significance of where it is and how close to the World Cup it is. Usually the World Cups happen in October, PSL ends in March. You have a good 6 to 7 months in between gaps and in the betweens, and you basically have a good chance to sort of even groom another player in that time. But PSL ending in March, May end is the World Cup.
What spots do you think are up for grabs?
If Azam continues to, and Azam and Ifti actually both continue to not be the middle order backbone that they should be, I feel like 5 and 6 are up for grabs.
But do we have enough time to give a new 5 and 6, a lot of matches to groom them?
What you'll probably see is that the current top order will be reshuffled. Maybe Fakhr down the order. Maybe Haris up the order. We don't know.
Well, Shaheen's actually mentioned that he broke the Rizbar partnership as an experiment. He wants to see if Saim can do well up top. What if Saim continues to flop? Does he bring Rizwan and Babar back at the opening? Does Mohammad Haris come back? These are all questions that we hope to get the answers for in the coming.
Do you think Pakistan is in a good position to have these problems?
They are good problems.
Or are these actually curses for Pakistan?
No, they're good problems. Pakistan has a lot of resources in T20s, but the problem is you're not really able to utilize those resources in the right ways. You've got to fire the cylinders in a way where they're advantageous to you. And I think right now Pakistan just isn't getting the right combination right.
So let's look forward. We have 2 games left. What should Pakistan do?
So 2 options. You can either continue to back these guys, or you can give Hasibullah a chance. You can give Sahib Farhan a chance. You've already lost the series. You can.
Do you rest Babar Azam?
Maybe you can. Perhaps you can rest Babar and be like, take some rest. You've solidified your place. There's no argument around your place in the team. Let's try out Farhan. He's been the top performer in the domestic circuit. Let's give him an opportunity. 2 matches to go. Same thing with Rizwan. Just because he's vice captain doesn't mean he can't sit out. Maybe give Rizwan a rest. See if Hasibullah can come in. Try out different combinations. Maybe bring back Amir Jamal and see how you can better utilize him. See how Abbas Afridi's fitness is.
Does Haris get a rest?
I mean, at this point, you've lost the series. You're experimenting. You're trying to build your bench strength for the World Cup. This is the perfect chance.
I agree with you. I think we should see a lot more new faces in the next T20s, in the fourth and fifth ones. Good pod, Bashar. Any closing thoughts before we head on out? Any emoji of the days? Feeling sad, feeling angry? What do we want the loyal fans to comment?
Feeling frustrated. We haven't seen Pakistan team win in a long time now. And we got a podcast on Pakistan cricket. I need some happy days.
We really do. I think what we've already done prayer hands. Should we do prayer hands again for the guys?
No, we should just do angry face.
Angry face.
Red guy.
Angry face, frustrated face for the emoji of the day. Unfortunately, that is the vibes that we are throwing your way. Thank you very much for everybody for tuning in. Always, always, always check out the Patreon down below. We're really excited that we are supported by our patrons, and we have a thriving community of cricket fans who are eager to connect with us. So you guys can check that out in the bottom description below, wherever you're listening to. If you're listening to on Spotify, Apple Music, definitely leave a review. That helps us out. Check out the membership platforms that we have available on YouTube and Spotify. That also helps the podcast, helps pay our bills down under here. And if you guys are looking for sponsorship opportunities, Backward Point is in the business of being sponsored. If you are a small local business, you can check that out as well. Give us an email and see how we can have a partnership together, Bashar. You and I have been having a really good partnership. 70th episode has been down the barrel. It's in the can. And lots of amazing things happening right after this series ends. We might be coming in and streaming the last T20I as well. It falls at a reasonable hour for us at 7 p.m. And that's something that you can check out on our socials when that happens. PSL is up next for Pakistan after this series. The Backward Point boys hopefully will have something big for you guys in that moment. Until then, take care.